All right. Chapter 6, The Tale of Hugh. Great Hugh, the strong-armed chief of the well-born ones, was bright-bearded, blue-eyed, but not over-tall. He was the bronze-bound ruler of warriorful Heffa, a place lying out in the shallow seas eastward of Britain with a many-moated white castle and high-colored walls. This was the seat from which he ruled oft-flooded Edelfrapandi, gaining control not by the sword but through marriage with the corn-haired daughter of Quitana. Heffa lay off the bay called Arkist, over the sea called Mortosh, and the people thereabouts were the Kudrera. They were war-wise and learned in other ways, but their week was too long by 2 days. After the arrival at Salmanth, to which he came peacefully as a bridegroom to his waiting bride, Hugh became king of the Cathon, and he taught men to plow and till the soil. He crossed to the summer land where he set up a great school of learning, and there was first taught the writing of books in the trees. The brother of Hugh was that of Taran, who took men of Heffa across the sea to Lador. The fighting folk who came with Hugh were outstanding among others, being fair-headed, light-eyed, soft-spoken, tall and slim, upright, big-muscled, honorable, brave, and musical. Yet they were not of the first faith and spurned the old faith, nor were they with us, but they were akin to the true folk of this green isle and kindred to the brave ones across the land-bound sea. They were not stone builders, though they rebuilt sky-bound Morkor Aravit, the great gate hall, which the dark ones call Shidekra, even to this day. This is the hall of the horse stones. This is the tale of Hugh, the strong-armed wielder of the man-smiter, child of the Aryan, which was given to us by our house-building forebears. But the days of this generation are lost. It concerns the Aram, whom he fought, who were the Femen and other times. Hugh of the sun-filled heart, lithesome as the willow, sturdy as the oak, fair-skinned, blue-eyed, straight-tongued, peace-minded, not strife-seeking, yet war-wise, this was he who led the glory-gleamer folk. He gave merry life to the green-grassed heart of Britain, flower-meadowed, sparkling-streamed, water-veined. He brought to these sand-bageled shores the high-hearted race of iron-muscled, horn-handed freemen. He, the son of wood-girt fields, first turned the sod of Britain in hill-tearing brown furrows. Upon the high slopes he made the soil to be uplifted, overturning it upon the winter-held grain. He first brought the long ox-drawn field rakes and carried fertility to the pasture lands. Winters were no longer times of hunger, for now all ate without stint from hide-lined cellars filled with fire-dried corn. Cabbages and onions, peas and gullgift, forest gleaning of women-folk, grew in tended soil, staked plots in the forest glades. Cattle gifts of cheese and curd cake, fire-dried flesh of summer-fattened beasts, nuts and brown herbs were the winter fare. Men wandered freely from place to place, wood-wending paths directing their feet. Patient beast-back bore the handiwork of men in bursting hide bags. Never were they ever welcome wanderers waylaid with evil intent. On stout-hewed house pillars, sheathed swords slept in silent companionship with decorative shields. The old ones slept beside glowing hearths, contented the women folk, happy the children, peaceful the hefty, wide-handed, brief-bearded men. They had found Castira and were content, warm-clothed against the winds of winter, hide head dressed, black cloaked, long tunicked, breast belted, kartak ornamented, they lacked little for content. The summer pour of the rainbow smiled over fertile flowering pastures, playgrounds of mirthful maids. On green carpets, the young ones skipped to the maiden wakening dance. Flute-playing youths and clapping singers gathered around the her-brew pails. Oft told the old tales, oft sung the songs of yore. Not for these, the earth-holed house, the bewattled roof covering, high raftered the roofs were, high raftered the roofs over the eating hall, broad beamed the guest hall, high raised the host hall, sturdy timbered the roof holding posts, hide hung shielding the slumber rooms. Bracken bench beds gave restful repose to toilers of the day. 12 of the number of the councilmen, wise the judgments given by the wisp-haired, horny-headed, bronze-bangled ones who sat on the oak trunk seats. These were the times when days received their names and weeks their numbering. The coming of the moon was made known, and daylight was divided into 4 parts. The 3 parts of night were named, and the 2 times of eating. Men knew the 4 divisions of the year, and their names were known. Much-landed Hugh taught the mating of the golden-faced sky spirit with the lady of life. Their son, the godling of greenness, was never unknown in the sea-necklaced land. He was the never-tiring teacher of truth, but this was not he whom the Britons worshipped, that one being not a man, but an invisible spirit. Before Hugh, folk saw at night only by the ruddy illumination of firelight, or its child, the flaming firebrand. But he gave them fat lamps feeding on the floating residue of flesh. Not yet light from the bee. Not yet were the fiery forges set up in this land by brawny, brown-eyed smithmen, their squat four-wheeled work-wains ox-droned through forest ways. Peaceful, the lush green land, peaceful all that dwelt between surging seas. From Partain, the fine bright bronze work, the big-bellied pots from Longasset, the hides of hornwork, the work of strange smiths. From Likey, earth, hidden things borne away in far-faring boats. From Setnespor, the hard, sharp stone tools, the ripe corn-cutting knives. Yearly from the Aram at Haraganos came the tribute of murky maids, mothers of the stud brood, workers with hillside herds and forest feeders, gatherers of wood and fruits. Never had the tribute been withheld. Well were the Aram instructed. Enoch, the collector, chooser of bright-eyed, murky maidens, came always with the best fitting ones for mothering the stud brood. What a Wenda, non-ridden daughter of Orma, troth pledged to Lopik, the black-bangered chief, she of the flower garden land, garland, and golly, man. Get it. A lot of adjectives that I've never heard of. The black-bangered chief, she of the flower garlanded, throng gathered, unbraided hair, small-breasted, small-handed, delicately wiry-bodied, rowan-cheeked, somber-eyed, who spoke of her to Enoch, who told of her beauty, her ever-smiling lips, her wit, her wisdom. She was unfound among the gathering. The hag maids hazed long at Inwalk's behest into the full moon enlightened waters, but she was unseen there. Orma was taken, and all the hag women, every maid and every youth. Neck bound, they were brought to the stud hall unharmed. They were fed and bedded. In the night darkness, the wolf wretches came, evil weapons struck silently, sleepers died, vulnerable backs took fang barbs. Dectyre, child daughter of Ardon, was snatched for foul bewitchment, a sacrifice to Gallo, victim of the bloodletting hag maidens. Through the wide pastures, the hawk banner bearers sped. Forest echoed the horn blast. The braid bearers' cries were heard afar. Large the council called, gathering in the field of the stone circle. And when the shaft cast was counted, all cried out for blood. High-spirited, stallion-mounted Hugh, swift smiter, girded at waist, bright bronze mace in hand, raised the winged war banner and harshed the heart-gripping war cry from 1,000 and savage throats. Bright the gleaming bronze blades, the slim, sharp spearheads, the weighty man-maulers. Forward the hefty, oak-hearted warriors, eager-eyed for battle. Tall, Appleish-wooded, the hill summit where the folk horde of Brim stood. No timber stockade builders these wood skulkers, sharp-staked, wildly pitted the approach. How stone-walled the last defense of the earth-ruiners. The summer shiner was halfway down to his trysting place with earth. Fast flew the hell balls of stone, the soft-singing death-bringers flung by the foul fighters. Lapik, the loudmouth boaster, shrieked loud against the shield-sheltering stalwarts. Fast flew the hook-toothed blades with poisoned sting of death. Save for the throwers from the stallion-led horse charge, never ceasing was the downfall of slingshot stones. Loud were the shrill shrieks of wild-haired hag women, black garb besmirched with sacrificial blood. No tongue of man used they. Wolf yelps, howls, and cat cries tore the air. Then the shields lifted and came forward. The bright blades gleamed readily. The pain-bringers arrived among the Aram. Heavily the bloodied man-maulers fell, smashing through shield and bone, wielded by oak-like arms, loud at the cries of the Aram. Long linden shaft red rammers thrust forward. The barbed dart was of no avail. Within the wood, wicker-shielded Lapik, tree-hid, stood to thrust the poisoned barb. As the skulking stoat springs upon its prey, bare-fanged to kill, the foul fighter leapt upon the battle-wearied warrior, brother of Dectyre. Deep sank the evil barbs before the ash shaft broke, but Lapik was within reach, carried forward by furious thrust. Loud the thud of the full-falling battle-hammer, biting deep into the encrushed brow, unavailing the leathern protector. This was a vermin slaying. Gone were the hag women and neither maids to their gloomy abode. Far through the forest ranged the vengeance fighters, many the bloodied bodies of Aram left behind. Then in wooded glade, battle-weary eyes beheld a maiden figure, Wenda, not over fearful, nor over bold, small beneath the tall trees, hooded, caped, and kilted. None stood with her except a two-tongued hag woman cowering against a tree trunk. Silently, curiously, the sleepless, weary Emran fighters gathered. Here was a self-given peace pledge, a ransom of faint-hearted fighters, a deed not unworthy of those to whom she came. No gallant, generous heart could not accept. Tiny indeed was she before the great Hugh. Here was no stud mother, but one worthy of being a true wife. No man, indeed, he who would accord her less. It was Lear, grandson of Wenda and Alva, who built the first house on the place where walled London now stands. These are the sayings of Wenda the wise. The woods are havens for the heavy-hearted, for trees soak up sadness. The lofty trees, sheltering sheet of forest dwellers, whisper soothing words to the worried. The only true friend is the tongueless tree. The most painful ills are the heart-smiting ones, therefore never leave it unshielded. A high-sounding title is a poor wood waif unless it is parented by eminent virtues. The treetops bow in homage to the winter winds. Forest creatures are lean, and sheep no longer graze on the summer pastures. Woe to him, say the whistling winds, who sacrificed his honor for worldly gain. The chill arrows of winter cleave the fall air within the home. A warm fire and low conversation is pleasant. But much talk unguards the tongue, and dishonor. A confidence is the sign of weakness. The brow of the hill is white with snow, and wild birds search diligently for food. Squirrels sleep soundly, dreaming of nut hoards. The wind whistles through the walls' wickerwork. Then call to mind that when winds of adversity blow, the fire of friendship comforts, but prefer to be a fire tender, not a fireside squatter. Having no feelings, the fish is chaste. What claim to virtue has a woman chaste as a fish? As a benchmaid's love flowers in dark corners, can sweetness be anticipated from its fruits? The woman, surrendering to a true man, has become a conqueror. No lover of children, the bench bride, or she would not act as she does. The bench bride's love is consummated in darkness, for darkness is the befriender of shame. Tarnished or inferior love sold cheaply, and is the bench bride's bargain.